Startuprad.io, your podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
I made it. I found the recording button. Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany. Today, I'm bringing you another startup of the month with the CEO and founder Hamedo. Welcome here. You'll soon see him. I just want to acknowledge that he's been sick for a few days and now he's back on his first day of work. He gets back and does the interview with us because we're on a very short timetable here. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. And guys, if you like, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and follow this podcast or YouTube channel wherever you're seeing or listening to this. As said, always in the show notes, there's a link to his private LinkedIn profile as well as to the company website. That's it. Great that you're healthy again and hope you don't analyze me too much. Hi, Hamedo.
Hi, Jan.
The analyzing joke goes because you're a psychologist by training and now you're doing data analytics. Let's take a little walk through your life. What brought you to your current startup? How did you do after studying psychology in my native city of Mainz?
So after the student time, I gained about 20 years of experience and was a kind for the sales and marketing for Unisys. Unisys was a big provider for software and hardware and some kinds of services for worldwide. So I was placed in Sulzbach. It is near the Frankfurt. So in the total time, I was 20 years in national, also in the international domains for many of the customers.
Sorry for interrupting you, but we may add to our audience that first, you've told me before we started the recording, you have not used English in a business setting for 7 years. So we'll appreciate that. And secondly, your startup of the month of Frankfurt Forward for May 2020. Sorry, that had to get in because you're winner and that's why you're here. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you study psychology. Aren't you the type of person who then gets like a private office, gets a couch, puts the people on the couch and listens to them all day and charge them enormous amounts of money? Isn't that how you're supposed to work? Instead, you got a corporate job, right?
So, when I started at that time in Mainz, when I finished the study in the 19, so I doesn't work in the psychology area because I was working in some kinds of the bars and I have the study time. So I start after our study time directly to the company in the sales because this was a nice job for me, and I had a chance to go outside from Germany, and so I decided directly in the job of the IT companies.
Okay, let me get this straight. You've been working with programming people, and then you switched to programming computers?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, I get that. What did you do there? And people may already know who see your picture. You're a little bit more senior than I am, so you finished studying in mid of 90s, I do believe. What did you learn in your corporate career that helped you right now?
First of all, I think the people, I had learned some experience with different cultures in different countries. So I was responsible for some of the countries, like for South America like here in Europe, and some kinds of Arabic area. Because for my history, I was born in Morocco, so I speak a little bit French and Arabic. So this was, I think, a positive for me, and at that time, to learn about the people. How is the people for his cultures, for his mindset, and for driven for your passions, etc. So I think it was a nice time to learn about the people, how the people thinking at, and those was very nice for me.
So you have that type of background. So that means English is your Arabic, French, German is your fourth language already, right?
It's a 5 because yes, sorry for that, because we have in Morocco different languages. So when you see in the north of Morocco, you speak in Berbic. It's one of the languages totally different to the Arabic, totally different. So you have in the north also Spain, because Berbic in Spain was mixed in the language. And in the south of Morocco, you speak more than French and Arabic. So I can speak all of the languages. So after that, when I came to Morocco, so that was, so I start with the German language by zero. So, and after that, so in my middle of my school time, so we becomes English also. I don't know, it's a 5-6 languages in total. It's a lot of.
A lot of languages and very many different worldviews. I remember when German philosopher says the limits of my language are the limits of my world. So your world is much bigger than mine is. Very jealous about that. That taught you quite a lot in your corporate job, I assume. What did you bring to a startup? How did you end up as a psychologist in a corporate career, speaking 5 languages, to do data analytics? Because everybody thought, language teaching startup would be a great idea. How on earth did you get into analytics?
That's a good question. So when I was 40 years old, I had questions for my personality. The questions was at the time, I was 20 years at the same company. So from my perspective is I'm very, very loyalty persons for every company. So it's very important for me. The questions was at that time, is my whole time for the next 20 years at the same company like the Unisys, IBM, Cisco? Or is this the last chance to change your visions, to change your mindset, to have your own company? So, and the decisions after I had, I think, 3 months to check my personality, to check with my private solution with my family, and the decision was to go for my own company. So I searched for a general approach for the data integrations, and decided to develop a solution for it. So this was because when I started in 2013, 2014 for the first company, so the idea behind this is I was in by Unisys before in the SAP era, and SAP HANA was at that time a very new solutions. And I spoke with a CIO from the SAP, and then I told him when you have a chance to get for the one small company, what is your step for the next time? So in the future, he said to me, bring your HANA for some of the services with intelligence, with analytics in the next step. So that was, I think, the start for me to create one of the startup companies in the SAP area. That was in 2014.
Just to make sure, you're not running a SAP clone, but you're running an analytics company. You set it up yourself, or did you already have co-founders?
So I had my co-founders is Nils Krugman. He was working before also in Unisys. So we had a good experience. We worked several years together. So we had we trusted. I think it's very important that he comes from the technical perspective. Comes more from the sales perspective. So we have a good mix to start for the company.
Oh, what's this? The person who helped you to set up the Skype account?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now you got a business guy speaking 5 languages with a background in psychology, and you get a coding guy. And what do those 2 guys do together?
So the first thing was, so we had, I think, a good idea behind this. So we had us. So what is missing is a big customer to the start. So at my time, when I was by Unisys, I had several big customers in the international customers, like the Daimler in Stuttgart. And so we had a meeting in Stuttgart with the Daimler responsible guy for the SAP business. So we told with him that we have a nice idea, that we are agile, that we have a lot of power, a lot of patience, etc. So, and he told us, yeah, it's no problem. We can start, but you are a little bit cheaper at your own company like the Unisys, so you can start. So it was a nice message from him. So we start, I think, after 4 weeks later with a small project. It was an integration SAP. It's the Daimler Mercedes-Benz Bank. It was the bank. The first customer is the bank from the Daimler. So we start with 2 persons for myself and Nils Krugman. So, and the next step was that I think we had done a great job. So he was very successful. He was very, he liked us, etc. So, and after that, we start to hire some of the people. So the first thing what we are doing is we had looking for the people in our networking. And the most people, when we start, they are coming from Unisys, so from our old company. Yeah.
I see it. Basically, you had a client like Daimler Financial Services, which is still today called the Mercedes-Benz Bank here in Germany. And he basically hired you because he knew what you can do from Unisys, but you've been cheaper. Okay, that makes sense. So at this time, you've been just consultants. What do you guys done since?
So we start, I think, in March 2014. So we grow very fast. So because we become another big project from the Daimler himself. So the requirements was for us to find the right people in the fast time. That was a nightmare. So you have for one hand you have a big deal. For the other hand, you miss some of the guys. So we have no experience to hire for the people because we had another job for the old company. So that was the first time for a lot of our experience to learn some of the new guidelines and new perspectives. So the problem at that time is that we have never people to ask him. So we had no support because we was alone. So in my old company, you have a lot of managers, you have a lot of people, so you can have left your questions and bring some of the answers. That was very new, but I think the mostly what we are to do is that we have a big power and big passions in ourselves. So we get some people from the Unisys and also some of the free market, because what we have to do is so we get some of the young people. They have no experience. They come from the student time. So, and we have a mix like the Accenture model, to have one of the senior project manager and mix with, I think, with 2 or 3 young people to have a lot of knowledge transfer from the senior to the junior. So, and we had a good pricing model so that we comes in the door. It was very important for us at that time. So we grow this from 35 people, and the business was up and running. So I think the most of the customers, we had several customers, so we win a lot of companies because we was their first company for the SAP to bring some of the migration services in the SAP area for the HANA. So we had a business card from the SAP, and we had no sales requirements because all of the customers came from the SAP side. So it was very nice. We had another problem because we had a lot of projects, but we need some of the people. That was the issue what we have at this time. So I think with data transition services, that was the name of the company at this time. So we sold the company in end of 2017 at one, I think, a big company in Germany, like the 7 Principles. He comes from the Cologne.
So you've set up a consulting company and you sold it again. Nice. So you're a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah. So in the mid-size for the data transition time, I found out that when you have a service company, the own service company, you have a big problem to have a grow with the company, because you can't scalable for the people. So because you have a lot of issues to find the right people. So from my perspective was for the scalability and it's this company, it's a big issue. So I start in 2016 with the idea. I had a quick meeting in the train. So we was from Frankfurt to Munich. So I had a meeting with the professor from Marburg, the University of the Marburg. So we had a nice discussions. So he told me that they have a lot of experience in the security for intelligence, data analytics, for some kind of the people, for the right people, and some of the knowledge in complex event processing. It is a methodology that you have to analyze all of the data in real time. So with this background, so the idea comes when I was back to the Frankfurt in the evening to say, so we have a lot of people, we have, I think, a lot of knowledge, experience. So why we prepare a new company in this area? Because at that time, it was all of the intelligence and machine learning. It was really new for the most of the company. So, and then I start in 2016 with the idea to create a new company like the IDA.
Okay, so basically you've taken first from corporate to entrepreneur as a consultancy, you sold this, and then you've seen the demand for real-time analytics and processing, and that's where you start IDA. So far, so correct?
This is absolutely correct. So one thing about this is that we have money for investments because we're buying our companies. So the foundation of the IDA was different in that was not only the result of the personal intrinsic motivations, but was also based on the extensive market analysis that was conducted in 2016. So we start with the idea. I think we had at that time 40 people, students. So we have some of the questions for the companies. So we start with a review to have some of the calls with the different companies and different growth of the companies. So we talk like the Lufthansa, also for the small companies, to have because we had the questions was, what is the issues what their customers have, all of them. So we found out this that the connectivity and processing of different data in a data management and integration platform is therefore still not available for companies across all of the industries.
So may I interrupt you a little bit? So basically, the problem is a company has thousands of things to do, and they have different software for most of those different duties, those different tasks, and those systems don't connect. So basically, in banking, it used to be the case that people had like huge systems worth millions, and then they had to download an Excel sheet, aggregate all the Excel sheets manually, and report this upwards because the systems didn't communicate with each other. And that was something you've also seen, right?
That's absolutely correct. I can give you an example. When you see in the manufacturing area, you have some kind of the machines for the productions. You have different components, different applications. You have sometimes SAP in the basketballs, also Excel, some of the different other applications. I think the most of the data is in the company, but also you have the requirements that all of the data have been used in some of the civil silos. So, and that is a big issue. What I think that all of the companies have this, because you have different formats, you have different languages, you have different applications, and when you need the right information from the data in the different systems, I think that's the biggest issue. What the most of the company, like the finance or manufacturing, pharma, etc., have. And this is not ready to be used. This problem is not solved today because when you talk with the SAP said our applications, this is the standard in the market. When you talk about the IBM, they said the same. So you have a different standards in the market. So we have no standards. So like I think like the telephones. So you have also no standards to bring the same cable for non-funds. So I think that is the most of the issues was all of the companies to have. So, and that was the starting to us to develop some kind of the modular software packages to solve all of this problem.
Okay, I see. So basically, the problem is you have data, and one machine puts out the data in French, another one in Arabic, another one in Hebrew, another one in Urdu, and you guys make them talk. Is that the right approach?
Yes. So I think we built likely when you see the bridge. So because you have different places, so you can't go from one to another place. So so we bring the wide bridges to have the connectivity for the applications. I think that's the way. And when in the last couple of the years, when I talked with the customers, they told us that they have all of their informations, some kind of the next point. What we are seeing is that the most of the experience, the most of the knowledge that are not documented in the company, the most of them they had in the head. So whenever I go out in the company, they lose some of the knowledge. I think it's the next point that was important for us to bring some of the models that the people, they have no knowledge about the IT, to bring some of their knowledge and their experience for the whole time when they are working at the company to bring this in our systems. I think it's the next phase for intelligence that you bring, that you have a mix with machine learning, also in the experience for the people to get to mix this knowledge in one databases. So I think it's also important.
Also, it's a known fact that many companies do have key employees who can do things nobody else can. In part, that's skill, and in part, that's true because they have knowledge in their head that's written down nowhere. That was in the past not a good idea, since people could get run over by a truck or a car or something, or could have accidents. But right now, in the times of Corona, you have an additional layer of risk with something like that. And I do believe that's something additional entrepreneurs would need to look for right now. That said, I was wondering, how do your clients actually use your data platform? I would assume mostly they aggregate all the data upwards to get some management reporting, some steering impulses where they need to, where management needs to pay attention and where it's running smoothly. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely right. Yeah.
Awesome answer. All my interview partners should be required to give those answers. That said, you told us you graduated mid of the 90s. Calculating in my head, you have survived as an employee, the dot-com bubble, as an entrepreneur, the last financial crisis, and you're now stuck in Corona as well as I am, because we are recording this at the time of a lockdown or partial lockdown here in Germany. Is there any advice you can suspend to all the people out there, maybe the young entrepreneurs who have their first real crisis for the company right now? Have you any recommendations for them?
I think we was the first company that comes in the risk area, because the biggest customers what we have is they come from the airlines, also from the aviations. And I think, I don't know exactly, it was 4 weeks or 5 weeks before Corona pandemic was starting in Germany. in China was the most of the aviations was stopped. So we have the big customer in our IDA. It's it comes here from Frankfurt. It's the biggest airline, so we can't tell him the name. So so we they stopped 4 weeks before Corona is starting. We becomes a call. I think it was in 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And he told us it was coming from the HR from this customer to stop every providers from now up in the next 2 hours. So we had a lot of people. They developed some of the software project consulting. So, and that was the first crisis and the experience for me that in more than 2 hours you lose all of them what we are built in the last 3.5 years. That was a big challenge for us.
Okay, you've been working for 3.5 years. You get a call from a big airline client we cannot name, but they are big and they're here in Frankfurt. And basically they say, no, all the service providers are stopped. No more business. I assume you first took a drink and then you decided what to do?
I was shocked. Really, I was shocked because this was a first time in my whole life that I have no answer because it was new. So we had a lot of people. I think more than 70% of the people what we have, they are working in the area of airlines and aviations. So that was a hard time for us, a really hard time. So I had 2 days. I was down, really 2 days, and I can't sleep. I had a lot of meetings, a lot of calls with our colleagues, with our management, etc. And after the 2 days, so I think the only thing what we have is to prepare a new company at this time, because the business before Corona, there was up and running. And when your business is it's running, the revenue streaming, it's okay, the customers is happy. I think you don't change anything, never change the running systems. So that was also our perspective. But with Corona, you have new situations. So after the 2 or 3 days after this, so we bring some of the management colleagues in one room, and we had defined and decisions a new strategy for the IDA, because we had requirements to see what is the right customers in the future for us.
So let me get this straight. You get a call from your client, you take a drink, you're down 2 days, and then you completely change strategy.
Yes.
Whew. Okay, that is a bold move that only an experienced entrepreneur could make. But I assume there goes some thinking into that. I've seen, like yesterday by Hessischer Rundfunk, which is the state broadcaster, that the Frankfurt airport calculates to be back at full capacity 2023. That means like more than 2 years out from now. And that's usually a time span no startup can survive. And you're very, very much into aviation and airlines. So what was your decision, and what was the point that triggered this point? Now we have to change strategy.
Yeah, because we have developed a solution which is absolutely necessary for every company, with with these solutions in the background, so we can get to all of the companies. So we had parallel from the airlines and aviation experience, also some customers, they came from chemical, pharma, and manufacturing. So so when I see in the news and to read some of the informations about the different customers, so we find out that some of the domains, they have a little bit risks. It was for us easy decisions to say which of the domains have a low risk in the futures. So we find out this in the pharma, chemical, also in the manufacturing. So we changed our mindset. So we focus on them, and also we had a decision that we'll bring a new services. The new services is that we want to change the consulting services what we have before them. Normally, when you start in every project, you have a different people, you have a project, you have a project manager, etc. So we want to cancel this and bring some of the fixed price solutions for the manufacturing, like the IoT, like the intelligence data, etc. So, and what we are now, we are prepared some of the services and new services to bring some of the customers that don't have any knowledge in the IT. They have a small IT. There was more focus for his productions and to bring these customers in the next steps. So we start them. We have, I think, a good feeling. So, and we was happy because we win for customers, for new customers in the productions for manufacturing in the last couple of the weeks.
So, but bottom line is you basically took your tool and decided at which industries we can also use it and made fixed price offers for those manufacturing clients. And when you said especially manufacturing, I was really smiling back here because I thought right now everybody wants to have toilet paper manufacturers as clients because there's no other as stable business as they have. We're now recording for almost 40 minutes here, and this on a Saturday. Thank you for making the time here. I was wondering, we are talking about Frankfurt Forward and you guys are headquartered in Frankfurt. Let us make a little shift towards the end and ask you the question. What means Frankfurt for you and why did you guys headquarter in Frankfurt? What was your trigger?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Frankfurt, for me, for my personality, it's our home base. So I live here more than 40 years with my family. I think also we have enormous technology potential and multitude of challenges for local companies, and also which need to discover each other in order to grow together. So we have, I think, all of the companies, they are sitting here, from airlines, aviation, also for chemical manufacturing. I think the next point of view is for the people. I think we found a lot of good people from Marburg, from Gießen, from Frankfurt, Darmstadt, so we can grow in the Germany, in the middle of Germany. And also, I think with the big customers what we have in the airlines, it's near Frankfurt. So I think in total we have all what we are needed, what were necessary for us. It's here. I think it's also for me that's Frankfurt. It's nice for I think for the different cultures of the people they are living here. So you have the national, also the international people here. I love this.
I do believe last time I've looked it up, there have been people from more than 150 countries living here in Frankfurt, which is quite impressive. I always love to say Frankfurt is beautiful. Unfortunately, it's very good in hiding those places. And for the chemical industry, we may add that Frankfurt Höchst has a large chemical park with many plants, as well as about 45 minutes drive from here. There is the largest chemical manufacturing complex plant in the whole world. So, and not only finance and aviation is big here in Frankfurt. That said, we've talked before. You guys are currently, despite Corona, looking for some money to expand your offerings. You guys are looking for venture capital funding, right?
That's right. I think we are currently in the last of the 3.5 was self-financed and have borne all investments ourselves. But we are currently looking for partners, either a strategic partner or a financial investor, because we are now ready to roll out our solutions in Germany, in Europe, also worldwide, and they need financial support. The decisions after that is, I think our stake in the software suite is stable and has no more teething troubles and used in different companies. So we have a good experience. I think we have a very, very USP software stack that can grow in every country. So that is the reason that we need one of the partners to help us to go IDA in the next step.
Is it like a Series A you're looking for? So you have a product and you want to expand?
Yes, we want to expand. We want to spend a lot of in the marketing that the IDA knows all of the companies in the worldwide, because I think we have a unique software stack there. They are needed all of the companies, and that the most companies they don't heard from IDA because we have a small budget in the marketing. I think it's one of the first things what we want to change this. The changing is also to expand our solutions in different domains and customers.
Global expansion, cross-industry expansion. Makes sense. Everybody who would like to learn more, you can go down here in the show notes. There is a link, of course, to Hamedo's private LinkedIn profile. As we know, you can approach him in 5 languages, as well as a link to IDA, Intelligence Data Analytics website. Everybody who would like to learn still more can reach out directly to you, I assume. And only thing left for me to say is thank you very much. I greatly enjoyed this interview.
Thank you very much, Jörn, also for your time. That was a nice time with you. Thank you very much.
The pleasure was all mine. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.